Alright, we are back, and I'm going into the summary of Spleefa and Leafa. And that is her stats right there. Right? So this is being recorded in real time, so the sound effects will be there also in actual life scenario. But as it was, we all continually head up to and through Route 1. So in this little area sequence, I did not get bothered that time. Okay, Spleefa did not get bothered that time. Neither did Splenda at that moment. Okay, and Spot either. So in the beginning of the entering of Route 1, we did not get bothered and we're just continuing through. So in our instance, before we meet this guy that was at the mart, I didn't get bothered. Spleefa did not get bothered. Splenda then. Okay, none of us got bothered through that first half sequence. So we end up talking to this guy. The guy says he's seen me battling, and he says hi. Like I work at the Pokemon. And explains about the Pokemon, of course. Now, ideally, for some of the people who might object the message, if they believe that the message is from the beginning, then, like when I go on the route for the professor going there for the key of getting the, the parcel for him, if they want to put this part in the beginning, they can, but they have to also add in the part for the grandchildren also when they get their samples. So alright, now we all have the potions from the guy from the mart. At the moment of that scene, that's great. And then we end up in a battle. So first ends up popping out Rattata Male. It's on level 2. So interestingly, it goes through the sequence and the quantity of, everybody's like, mainly in this beginning, they're just saying we should catch him. He comes out at first. So of course, I try to use Growl to lower his status, just like the professor says, it puts him into an advantage. Now, if they want to, they can have it as Spot ends up telling me, or so, okay? Now, as it is also, the Pokédex are activated. Okay, so my Pokédex activates and explains Rattata Male, just then, okay? Just give me 1 second though, okay? But as it is, I did Growl with Blast. 1 second. So much going on. So I ideally just tried to throw the Pokeball. Of course, they tell me to try to catch him. Now I'm trying to do this in the fast sequence that it goes in motion and the film and the continuation. So of course he breaks out. So he's doing tail whip. Now you hear the package is growling that second time in a row. Now this ends up bringing flames out of the Pokeball, and she witnesses this also. And finally, I tried to capture her. It definitely feels love outside. But as it is, I nickname him excellent quick on my own choice. Alright, for that battle. But as it is, I got into my first battle there. Pidgey now comes out. So as it is, it's very interesting for speed. Now as it is, I'll end up catching the Rattata. So afterwards, this male Pidgey ends up popping out. And Leafhead dodges this tackle. Now in this way, in this sense, like I said, hopefully they will put it into Pokédex research mode, or somehow they have an aerial battle camera, like Pokemon Stadium, kind of. But in the same concept, it also, while it catches in depth of the battle, it kind of, in a way, gets in depth of what's going on around it. So sometimes you'll see things in the background also. That'll be interesting. While the battle's going on. That's why I said they're like life-threatening scenes. So interestingly, like I stated, the Pidgeys will be kind of cool and interesting because they're the first flying type. But the flying types, they can actually fly a little bit, Even if they're part flying type, they can fly a little bit. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like it has to be, their flying type has to be their first initial slot. Some Pokemon should have actually 3 typings instead of 2, which we already know this. That's nothing wrong because the development still is excellent, but it's just something that can be in mind. Like, so many trainers would definitely appreciate that, including myself. As it is, another male Rattata pops out. So interestingly, of course, as I'm basking right now, and I'm watching this and focusing on it, It was a celebration practically for Spleefa and Leafa, as they have their first victory against the flying type. Also, isn't that kind of neat? Oh, I think I don't know why everything's like sticking. Like the buttons are. So as we were still continuing through Route 1. We continued through, and of course, we get into another battle. Now, if you want this guy that we're going to be talking to, you could tell that he says about the legend, all that. It could be that, and either way, that's how it is. But of course, as there is the female Rattata, she pops out. So of course, as we know, she came out after the catchy Mangs. Now it's gonna just go off the like 2D aspect of me just doing it one-sided, like I'm trying to make it be successful, but in the ideal, I am doing it how I would battle, and that's how I would want, my character to be for myself, as they did. Figure out one more time, because that's what I would do. Now, an interesting concept, I hope they do that, the interesting concept with stat effects, that they actually can do the much of spikes, you know what I mean, every time they're afflicted, and still do recall damage. And it can be actually to the point that a tail whip could make a Pokemon thing. And as it ends up being, you know, end up calling her fast. Now, of course, as it is, the Pokédex asks would you want to do a nickname for your Pokemon, and of course I do, and it asks me also, do you want to know the information for this Pokemon? So, information that we end up finding about both Mangs and Fangs are right here off of this Pokédex of the Fire Red, is that their fangs are long and very sharp, and they grow continuously, so they gnaw on hard things to whiten them down. So in the same sense, they mainly keep their teeth nice somehow, some way. So an interesting feature also in the concept, the Pokédex should also state and say, do you want to know the natures of them? So as we find out, Mangs is hardy. And here's the stats for him. And he has the ability of guts. So whenever he's getting attacked and he's going down, or he's getting hurt, he ends up upping his attack. Alright, and as it's known, he knows attack one tail whip. So Fangs, she is gentle, which is interesting. So them as a combination would be interesting. She also has guts herself. So they're both a gut C combo at the moment. Okay. So as it is, I'll wait for a second for him to come back. But we're gonna find out what he says on the route and through the ledge. He's very spleeful right now. So of course they all have their time. That was her ID card right there. An interesting concept. Leafa is the same as much as Flames and Blast. Her abilities overgrow and her attack goes up when she goes down. Like an attack lower. But in her concept, she's brave. So ideally, I would make it a suggestion that her overgrow kicks in when she's red and exhaustion, and she's about to sweat and faint. You know, she sweats and paints, and then of course, since she is a grass type, you know her, like her sprout blossoms, like she gets a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Now overgrow kicks in, so it'd be super interesting, super unique, something that even makes it more powerful for Spleefa as her being her trainer. So I'm very thankful for that aspect of happening. So, of course, as he says, he makes a statement about the ledges of what we can do while we're going through routes or on an adventure. So, Splenda gets in her battle. Or is it Spots? Nope, it is Splenda. So another Rattata female pops out, and she's on level 2. So in the concept of the last battle of me catching Mangs, it ends up catching the attention of this other Rattata, and this other Rattata ends up coming out. And of course, as it is, Splenda, she is ready. And of course, Splendid, she does her tail whip. Well, and the main concept that is kind of cool about her is she's like a show type Pokemon, like I stated, and she likes to do tail whip while she is her nature.